Okay, hello, this is Makiko from Reiki Lab. Today we're going to talk about Sacred Neutrality, Series 2. Specific topic is targeted individual and targeted soul group or targeted group. Before we start this session, I would ask everyone to clear yourself, so try to ground, find a place to stay sacred neutrality. And I thank David and Susan for both of their effort to creating this space so we could have a secure and a safe space for all of us to have this meeting and discussion. Now I would like to start with Revocation and Invocation that Andrew Bartis recently provided us. This is specifically for AI. Artificial intelligence, otherwise known as a CERN. So everybody, if you have a copy of the revocation, feel free to pull it out. If you don't have it, I posted it on Facebook under Friends Who Likes Andrew Bartis, as well as Brain Trust Group. This was kindly offered by Susan, so Susan, thank you so much. While people try to find a revocation, I just want to make sure today's date. It is Wednesday, May 18th, 2016. The time here is 7:10 p.m. Eastern Time, or New York time, and please make your own time zone so that we all do remember this time. All right. Let's open up the revocation. And then for those who would like to speak the revocation with your own voice, please mute my voice. And when I stop reading this revocation, I will raise a hand so you know when to unmute. All right? So everybody has a revocation in front of you. I hope you do. And if it's not, I like to share this with you. Maybe I cannot do that. Well, maybe I could. Let me see. I could do that. I could post on a side chat bar. So everybody has revocation on hand? I'm gonna copy. All right. I just copy and paste it on a side chat bar, so you could follow there as well. Okay, revocation and invocation for artificial intelligence. Revocation for the express sovereign purpose of reconnecting yourself with your soul shard. I, in the ever-present moment of now, choose to form a multi-layer spiritual code of equity for the express sovereign purpose of reconnecting me with my soul shards who have been lost in time through the acts of others, disconnecting the social system of time from consciousness living on the surface earth. All beings who have erased, altered, destroyed, or redefined our history of force, intentions, or perspective fall into our race memory, and hereby given notice, your service are no longer required. From this point forward and backward, through all perspective of time, I break all contracts and subsequent prediction-based contract. I enact the universal claim of truth. What is the authentic signature frequency of universal place of a space-time? Your soul spark came into existence. You have abided me from the last moment of ever-present moments. You are hereby banned and banished from all of my realities in all dimension, time stream, galaxy, and universes in a void space in which I exchange energy. I bind all acts against this I am presence to every spiritual code of equity I have ever created. I enact the universal requirement of your source time frequency. Without it, you have no experiences with me. You are not real. I do not exchange energy with beings who are not real. There was at any point of the time matrix, a form of consent was given, granted or assumed by some hierarchical authority that this I am presence is not fully aware of it, is now revoked with sacred neutral prejudice, so complete and total disentanglement from this universal drama, galactic drama, and earth drama. I make this a definitive statement for a reason. We cannot live in a solid point of reality that has no source function for the I am presence. The DNA technology was never meant to function in this manner. The process of gene engineering has created a paradox of self-incarnation and reincarnation that has created a separation with soul density that is not within the divine co-creative power of the self in equal co-creation with Earth Mother's realm that use other source time codes. With this knowledge in the ever-present co-creative moment, I connect to the Akashic record of 20,000 life frequency worlds. I assemble all source time codes from all non-linear concurrently running spiritual codes of equity. I expand my knowingness to recognize all residual image of other soul family members outside this frequency of time. I now share with this all my call to all sources. I go to my sacred space of internal healing. I go to the four elements of Earth Mother's realm: air, fire, earth, and water. I go to the seven directions to protect all sacred space of all unity consciousness and collective consciousness creation existing in Earth Mother's realm. I call forth all unified collective consciousness creations with a source identified authentic signature frequency of the universal place of space-time. The collective consciousness creation came into existence. I call forth all ancestral truth source relations to hold a sacred neutral space in this multi-dimensional spiritual code of equity. I call forth all observers using unentangled observer technology that manipulated 1, 2, or 3 degrees of separation. I connect all of you to all identified collective consciousness creations, so you may be observed by your 7 future generations. I go to my sacred medicine spirit. The healer's tools have been laid out in ceremonial fashion. We, the dreamers of the southern skies, call out to this moment of I am, recognitions of ancestors on the blue road of spirit, waiting for us to acknowledge their presence as an I am being in a different form of time. I choose this moment to engage my sacred heart space, to connect to the dreamers of southern skies. I unify my dreaming presence with my I am presence. I make this the super technology of communication and union with all sentient kind, living and coexisting in Earth's dreaming mind. With this now action of no time in dream space, I call forth the ancient future now, 7 generations of incarnations of myself and soul family. So this I am may begin to tell the tale of ancestors past, present, and future. I am a being of love, created through love and with love. I continue to create this space of knowingness, so all beings may seek and find inner peace and solace. Through dreaming, I set out the dreamer's tools in my sacred dream space. I set out the shaman's healing ball engraved ancient sequoia with pictograph of the turtles and the stars. I set out the shaman's spirit rattle, so the rhythm of a dream is felt in all layers of the self. I set out the rites of passage, victory, feathers. I set out the last path of this future self, calling home now. I speak to the crystal and mineral kingdom these words of unity. The time is now, and the power is you. In the moment of no time now, I go deep into my shaman's rattle, shaking the next word of life so that two-legged perceived more of the dreaming world around them. I shake the rattle to send away the mind whispers telling us it's not real. I go deeper and deeper in the world of dreams, finding my dreaming self from a long time ago. I greet myself with this message to all ancestors. The time is now, and the I Am presence is here to assist all of nature's find its remedy and resolve with all creature kind in the dream space of Earth's realms. You, who is Mother Earth manifest, I call to you in dream time. I am self-presence. I ask you to aid me in understanding my star brother and sisters who dream a different dream space, still linked to our dreaming space of space's Earth Mother, who is in a galactic seed planet of ancient legends before the recording of universal archaic record of a sentient free will. I call to you to come out of ancient dream space to become once again with the will of your children to heal the many worlds interacting with our I Am presence and boil in a resolution of universal karma. I assemble all master time codes from multiple non-linear spiritual code of equity and place them in this master location hierarchical order to create the space of all time codes within the system. This space is my spiritual medium to all the other frame of sentient existence. This space of all time is what we become the medium of time and begin the process of transgression. Of emanations of the past, the future, calling ourselves home to the ancient present now. At this ever-present moment of a moment, I say these sacred words to the all of the universe. I drop my old robes and accept my universal citizenship as source concentrated incarnate. This being of the now makes manifest my signature frequency of being. I go to the galactic central sun of this galaxy and all of the galaxy I have exist in. I ask you to come into every single spiritual code of equity I have ever created to act as sovereign mutual auditor of time-space existence. I ask the master collective consciousness of all galaxy to come into my sacred space of sovereign reality to speak the universal truth to all ancestors present in the ever-present moment of now. Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna unmute everyone. And welcome Harris, and welcome Santo. I'm glad you guys able to join in. Hello. Hi, Santo.
Hello, guys.
Hi, Harris.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm so glad you'll be able to join.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm here. I'm very honored to be here. I just said I just join in and show my presence and all that. I don't have that much. I wouldn't stay that long or unless it's finishing. But anyways, we'll see how it goes. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Excellent. Harris, your video is not on. I'm not sure, is that because of the you want to save that bandwidth?
Oh, hold on. Let me see if my son wants to say hello. My son.
So Harris, I want to know, you got room for all of us to come camp out in your yard when we all go to Ireland so we can unlock the secrets there and unlock the keys?
Yeah, we could work something out. Why not? Can you guys see me now?
Yes. Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
Oh, he's like a
Beautiful.
sleepyhead.
Hey, little guy. What a sweetie.
I think he's sleepy a little bit. Yes.
It just came to me, so I knew I had to get back, but I said I bring him here, and I just at least I join in for a while.
Thank you, thank you. So we
Yes,
just
David, it's gonna be wonderful. We can talk about that later again. For all of you that want to come to Ireland, definitely I'm right here, and we can work many things out. Definitely.
That touch of all those sacred sites that we're looking at. I remember when Andrew was talking about going there. I was like, yeah, I want to go. I want to go.
Yeah, yeah. Please, the energies are waiting for yours. You know, there's a lot of work going on. Every new reality is it's a new reality. It's a new sheet. So, we're waiting for your energies. Definitely.
super. Hey, thank you. Thank you for coming and see us. I think he's
I
gonna
can
come.
see myself. They can see us. Hmm? You
He's
see?
almost gonna say, "Oh, smile, it's so beautiful." Yay. What's his name?
Noah.
Oh,
Noah.
Noah.
Noah. Noah.
It's
If
sleep
only you
time for
could
him.
see this. Can you
Yeah.
see this owl? Noah. Noah. I hope I don't scare him. Hi. Do you like it?
No, he's cool.
Noah.
He doesn't mind. He's never scared. Are you? Yeah, I'm gonna rock him a beat while I'm still here. I'm listening. I'm gonna just keep rocking him, and then when he wants to go to sleep, then
Oh,
I can move.
all
I'll
right.
let
We just started, but I don't intend to prolong this one too much because looks like Andrew has his own thing coming with what is it, mystical living from
you.
9:30, so in 2 hours. So I try to be very so that people could have some break. So Harris, today we're going to talk about sacred neutrality series 2. Let me switch the screen. I have something for you all. I think it was Christy last time gave me great idea on the next topic, and it fit it so well. So thanks, Christy. I think it was Christy, the interested in targeted individual. Is that true, Christy? Am I wrong? I think you're muted.
Yes, that is true. I was muted. Yes, I think it's a great topic. I'm excited for today's talk.
Excellent. So I'm not sure you could see my screen. It should say welcome.
Yes, we see it.
Excellent. So let me go through this quickly. Oh, somebody joined. Hi, Dave.
Hi, just walked in the door.
I understood. No, thank you for joining us today. So I continue to ask both Susan and David, and thank you, thanking the created this space very sacred and blocking from other entity to come in. It did happen last few times into the Zoom and the Google Hangout. So this is a direct ask from Rosie. And I also was asked someone who will be taking care of the recording. And the name was, I believe it was Zakaru and David Farrow. So since Zakaru is not present, I kind of rely on Dave to be kind of recorder. So recorder meaning is not, to me, it's not necessarily technical recording, but in energetic signature from each one of you participating today to smooth out the energy and noting that if there energy imbalance, would like to note it, today than later. I'm not sure Dave you could follow me.
As long as I don't have to physically record it, I don't know if I can do that on my phone.
Oh no, that's fine. No, you don't need to physically record it. I think that's your natural ability. I think that's why your name being it wasn't suggested. Actually, it's your name being dropped. So
Okay.
thanks for that, Tarrant. All right, so thank you. So goal of this today's agenda today is the following. The previous session, we had a sacred neutrality from spiritual journey perspective. It's really top-down view. where we came from, where you're going. We all going, started from one place and going back to the same place we came from. And we emphasize that during the journey, that how the sacred neutrality play a critical role. And what is our own purpose is a paramount. Finding our own purpose and fulfilling the contract or fulfilling basically the goal we set forth, set up to ourselves. And session 2, which is today's session, is it's really Christie's suggestion, and it's a perfect one. What prevents us from maintaining this state of mind, which is sacred neutrality, which is the external influences? So we're going to talk and zoom in to artificial intelligence, or CERNs, or all the other projects under CERNs, artificial intelligence. And I don't think I need to go overview why sacred neutrality now. I think you all understand that our own expansion, spiritual evolution, expansion of source, external influences we need to know. What do we need to know, basically? What are they? How to deal with it? And just quickly, just review the previous session, right? Basically, we understand the sacred neutrality is central emphasis of spiritual journey. With this, not I shouldn't say without this, with this, that you be able to accelerate your spiritual journey, as well as your vision and understanding of who you are and who you are not. From approaching that from sacred neutrality is a paramount for your growth in spiritual aspect. And I'm just gonna quickly go through that. I'm sorry, it may be a little too busy, but I just need to get to the section that we want to talk about today. And please feel free to stop for question or something you'd like to voice because you have a relevant topic or relevant experience. This is all I'm just here to holding a space. So for you to come in and exchange your insights. I stop here just to bring you kind of the previous topics, what we spoke, lifetime connection. If you are attracted to Andrew's site, you do have a certain tendency or understanding of your future incarnations. The meaning that you all intuitively understand or know you are or you belong to group of soul or spirit. And it's been described in many different ways. Soul family, soul mate, or soulmates, or words like soul migration. And each and every one of you do have a connection with galactic connection, a star brother and sister. Some of you, I don't think it's here, are more connected to Earthian, mainly because your previous massive amount of previous incarnation was here on Earth. So why we don't remember, or why some of us have a more affinity to the words such as soul family or galactic brother and sister versus some are less. There are two folds. One is that it's a contract for us to forget everything else. This is why Andrew speak about how impressive to graduate from Earth, because everyone started with a blanket akashic record, meaning that you're asked to forget everything. and you are not supposed to remember or recall your past memory or lives in this entire lifetime. So that is one. There are exceptions to rules. This one's not, is anybody else want to add here?
Can you hear me at all?
Yes, I do. We do.
I don't know what the application is doing because it seems to indicate that I'm muted, so I was probably unmuted with lots of background noise. I apologise.
That is okay. Santos, yes?
Yes, yes. How are you?
Very good. Welcome.
Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you. Can I just add, I'll ask a question at this point on this,
yes.
what you talked about in the first slide, because one thing that keeps coming up is the relationship of us, 2 generations, and the concept of 7 generations, and our responsibility to the generations that come before and after us. And in the context of soul migration, soul families, I'm trying to get a better understanding of what the actual meaning of the 7 generation concept is, because in a very traditional way, I'd think of 7 generations as the generations of the lineage that I've been incarnating or reincarnating into, but I'm trying to understand, in the context of soul family, what does the 7 generation connection and responsibility mean? Because, and where does it start? You know, like, let's say, for instance, if we took it very literally, and I didn't have any kind of concept or understanding of soul families, and somebody said to me, you're responsible for 7 generations, so I'd be thinking, wow, I've got my kids, now I've got my grandkids, and there's a connection to the generation that comes after them and after them. But I don't believe that that's what it literally means. So if it doesn't literally mean 7 generations in a kind of ancestral lineage that could be just pure representation of ancestral debt lineage rather than soul family, how does one find out the true understanding of the 7 generation commitment from their perspective?
Excellent question as usual. And I only could speak with my experience, and everybody else has their own perspective. And I'm here to voice my own belief system, and I'm not attached to any one of the belief system, nor I am endorsing Andrew Birch's teaching. With that, I could speak from his perspective, and in an area that I agree with his perspective, but personally I experienced it, and in a part of it I haven't experienced, so I cannot completely endorse Andrew's teaching. So with that understanding, I could explain my perspective, and perhaps, you know, anybody else add or modify. I'm welcoming anybody else's perspective. Is that okay, Santo?
That'd be wonderful.
Okay, so sticking to Andrew's soul family, let's talk about that first. So my primary reason attracted to Andrew's teaching is precisely because the word soul family or migration, whatever the reason, it's very important for me in entire lifetime. Even though I wasn't awakened until recently, I have internal, I don't know, mission that I need to find the special someone that far beyond just first love, somebody fall in love is. It was a relentless mission for me that I know they are vitally important soul. This is a soul. This is almost like my primary reason to be here. And I can't explain to you what that is, because that's what it was. So when I exposed to Andrew's material, I just could not stop listening the entire video, and I think 45 minutes I just crying straight. I could not stop crying because it spoke to my soul, and then I said to myself, I knew this all along. Why it took me this long? Why I didn't trust myself when I was little? I knew so much more then, and somehow, I don't know, reprogrammed or brainwashed. So the concept of soul family is far beyond of your blood line. So my parents, my great grandparents, my great great grandparents, I came from Asian culture. It's important to maintain a bloodline that was far, far more emphasis put it on to carry the first son, that's the one that carry your name. So it's ingrained. But I didn't know that's not my soul family. Somehow I knew that's not my true soul family. You just know it. Well, I just knew my parents are not my soul family. Neither my sister is. That knowingness and try to understand who I am looking for. So that's truly, so that's kind of the first my experience I say. So when I hear Andrew's, how we be messed up, manipulated, so we will never, next to impossible to find your soul family. I do understand that. How do you find out if the connection being manipulated or distorted or forced incarnated into or reincarnating to this broken record over and over and over? Eventually, you begin to forget. So the soul family is something, other people explain, the soul family is something you came from. You always travel with this group of soul or spirit. And you know this soul for thousands of lifetimes. You most likely you spend over 1,000 lifetimes together. They know you very well. You're very familiar with them. They're very familiar to you. So when you meet, they understand who you are, what you've done, why you did it, and why you made this decision. It is almost next to impossible, maybe, in this 3D construct, because you're supposed to forget everything. But I tell you, if you meet someone, the stranger, total stranger, and you somehow you sit in a bar, and you speak everything, you tell this person everything, you never even told everything to your wife or spouse. And just time passed, like 5 hours you sit in a bar, felt like 15 minutes. That is that spark, that familiarity, the comfort, the total alignment. When you meet the person, almost all the time, that is one of your soul family. So that is a soul family definition. I mean, to me, and it bet you it happened to you. But a lot of time people just dismiss. Wow, you look so familiar. I feel like I know you forever. And then you dismiss it. People just dismiss it and never get back and continue to find out. And so sometimes just, that's it, you know? And then your life is busy, you move on.
Yeah, I see the soul family description, and I hear that and understand what you're saying there. The part that I'm trying to kind of get a better understanding is the 7-generation concept. So I'll give an example. So, for instance, like you said, you've reincarnate or incarnate into a family, and you don't necessarily resonate with your siblings or your parents, and or maybe one of them. Well, let's say, as an example, you don't resonate with that lineage that you've reincarnated or incarnated into, and then you start meeting people, like you say, and maybe meet someone, and it goes like 15 minutes, like you're saying, you're kind of all very connected. But as you create this current incarnation, then you say, find a partner, have children, and then let's say there's a scenario where you have a partner, you think you resonate, and then you have children, but then the same thing could happen again. You know, that's why there's so many divorces and people feel, oh, we don't really belong together. For whatever reason, they did get together and have children, but then extend it even further, and then those children have children, so now you have grandchildren. And those grandchildren, let's say, for instance, before they're tainted, any child seems to be purer in terms of their essence and hasn't been programmed, and you naturally feel a connection to them. But let's say, for instance, it skips a generation, which seems to be happening a lot, where people impulsively or conditionally meet someone, they live together, get married or whatever they do, and then have children, and then figure themselves out, go their own ways, and then as they figure themselves out, their children grow up, and then their children have children, and they start to feel this connection again. So is it all in our heads, you know, the concept, or is it, you know what I mean? You know,
yes.
the
So
difference.
let me tell. Oh, I'm like echoing. So thank you, Santos. I'm not talking about 7th generation. I just set aside, and then I see side chat bot and other people has more insights. So very quickly, so 7th generation, why Andrew keep bringing forth more and more, and then I move back to your beautiful observation. So those generations he talked about, future and the past, they actually physically exist. That is why you have access to them. It's crazy, yes, but it is. That's what those future generations, especially 1, 2, 3, physically exist, and 7 probably it's reachable. They basically in the process of incarnating. So that's why 7 come from. But then there's another explanation why. I'm just gonna stop here and come back to you, spouse. So we all have there's a one belief system or teaching, I share that with you, and it's also in my case, that it's all, unfortunately, it's all contract and agreement. So the spouse, my case, or whoever the case you be with, you had a contract. Yes, there is a free will, so it may not happen, but it was set. This is not necessarily the same soul group, because if you want to expand yourself, you're not necessarily marry with the same person over and over, because the expansion may limit, because you've done this many times. Why you want to do it again? You could switch it. Well, this time you're going to be a sister, you're going to be mother, you're going to be this. There's so much combination you could do. So most often you contract a different spirit group, and then, okay, you know, that's the spouse agreement, and it maybe include a pet, or include, you know, one of your kid came from different soul group, and then, okay, I will be your reflection, so you learn, but then are you gonna, you know, agree, okay, then I will teach you this, and therefore I will teach you that. Now it's still free will, and you decided, well, I don't want to, and the person don't need to take your teaching from it, and then your contractual spiritual contract at that point is over. You know, go both way. If you force yourself to stay in because of social programming, what will happen is often, in many cases, cause depression or cause, you know, self-sabotaging, self-denial. Well, that is something I could share as one of the belief systems. So it's not, you're not meant to necessarily to have the soulmate to be your spouse, or sometimes that change, because your growth acceleration, growth velocity is different from your partner. You're no longer the match.
Yeah, but just what you described, doesn't the same thing conceptually happen in any group, including soul families, because we kind of mirror and bounce off each other in order to learn and grow? So what's the difference between what you just described as the, you know, one time come as the wife, the mother, the father, whatever, and keep going round in a circle,
Yes.
versus learning in a soul group?
Yes.
What's the difference?
So the soul family migration has a very specific meaning. It's almost like a couple of thousand-year agreement. So what Andrew says soul family migration is you have a very small parts. You came from the big soul group or spirit group, and you have a very few member that you want to learn. You have a specific mission that you get granted from this soul group, you know, because so different from main soul group. So you are granted to have this little migration group. Usually one goes off and those other one hold a space, so you know where to come back to. Usually one, if you remember Andrew's interview with Lance White, you one go for 1,000 years, and the other 3 or 4 wait for you while they are observing, you know, having experiencing your experience with, you know, unentangled, entangled observer. So when you come back, this soul part has tremendous acceleration in this topic or contract, you know, as they try to accomplish. So more contract you accomplish and bring back to the soul group, more energy you get, and more experience or more choice you have. So it's a game. It's a little game. Now, when you talk about you belonging to this, you know, league, so to say, you have to grow it. You do have a choice because you may belong to multiple soul group at one point. So they could offer, okay, which soul group you want to come for the next incarnation. Sometime you are offered. I actually experienced when I was a new awakening, I got conflicting messages and I seek resolution, and then I was told I got to offer 2 different soul group. I have a choice. I could go A or B. So back to your question, yes. It's like a league. It's almost like a football. I don't know, you watch American football. There's a draft. It really that, you know, you're such a good receiver, and the Giants wants to get from the Jets. I don't know. It's terrible example. But I happen to love American football or baseball. So it's just drafting happens sometime, or you say you don't like this soul group because I'll grow it. You request, you just simply request. You go different one.
I have a comment on your question, Santos, on the 7 future generations. And this is my perspective from, and I was actually thinking about it today during my meditation, that I was working with the Andrew's bone marrow, and you know, it got me thinking that, you know, we start, you know, as a heart, and then the heart, and then the brain and the heart, and then as we grow, you know, we have the blood, and then the DNA within the blood, he has said, is our, you know, our light, I guess, the light, what we connect to through our experiences in light, and that this skin suit, you know, is a skin suit for what, the 10,000 different species that all incarnate, you know, through, you know, an egg and sperm and a womb. So then if we're empowering our bone marrow and we're putting into it what we want to become, what we want to do, you know, like in his, I don't know if you've heard his meditations. I'm sure you're a member of the site because I think I've seen your name on there before. And when he talks about, you know, encoding the blood, my blood will no longer be used for war. My blood will no longer be used for, you know, human trafficking. Or you start putting into your blood in that, and you bring in those ideas that then you put out to the 7 future generations in the etheric field that you're looking to incarnate with, so that the wave frequency or signature that you're putting in and then you're interacting with consciousness to bring in generations that have those higher ideals, that have the, you know, say some of the amnesia for all the horrible things, you know, experiences that we've gone through, because we know that's not what the future is. So I know it's kind of wandering, but it's more like it's not as much the people around you as the frequency that your soul spark is emanating with what you're receiving from your past generations that have gotten you to this point, and what you put out to the future generations and those beings waiting yet to incarnate here, if that makes any sense. But that's just my interpretation.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dave. You know, Dave is great explaining things and make Andrew's material much more digestible. So thank you for your input, Dave. And David? Oh, I'm sorry.
This is Susan.
Susan, go ahead.
I just have a really cool experience I had with remembering one of my past generational lineages. So in my present incarnation, I had a very disturbing childhood that I just did not feel part of. It just filtered through every phase of my life that I didn't feel supported or nurtured and so on. And I was hiking one day and doing, you know, I pray out loud as I hike in the mountains, so it's really a spiritual experience. But all of a sudden I remembered a past life, and I was surrounded, and I'm probably going to start crying because it was so real, but I was surrounded by my clan. I was Native American, and they were just honoring me and supporting me and giving me like gifts. And they're like, you are so important to us. And it was just like, I knew that those were my past ancestors coming to tell me how much, you know, I was appreciated. And even though I've had a hard life this time, I knew they were the reason I was here at this incarnation. So I'm not saying that was my bloodline. It was my soul ancestor family that was coming through and giving me that encouragement and experience of their love and support. So that was a cool example I had. Thank you.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. I feel that. That's how I feel. The soul or spirit group, that they come through your heart, and sometimes it's nothing to do with the DNA lineage you are in. Actually, almost all the time. And that's why when I saw the Andrew's materials, he basically unlocked the mystery. Well, look, you know, almost everybody messed up, and not just me. That's kind of making me feel better. Well, it still sucks, but at least we found some reason, and we be able to share these crazy things, right? Just like nothing. So I think Andrew created a space. Some material, sometimes it's not easy to understand. And I think, so thank you, Susan. It's very profound. It's very profound. Thank you. I think there are more things that she could share with us in the coming days. Christy, I know you had a brilliant answer in a side chapter. Would you like to add to that?
My understanding, it's more of just knowing that Andrew studied with Native Americans, and I just looked up what does 7 generations mean, and I called up a link from a site called Native Insight, and it just talks about the philosophy of the 7 generations. I'm not quite sure. I just think that that's what it's related to. Also, I think it's just us looking out for the next 7 generations that are coming, and what are we going to imprint on them? What are we going to teach them? What are we going to pass on? I'm not sure it's just genetics, because, you know, I think all of us are responsible, even if, you know, we choose not to have children. You know, we can all contribute to the future of our people, of humanity in general. I think that was just it.
Yeah, beautiful. I'm looking at your picture in the doggy, and then, hey, I'm a next generation too.
My fur baby.
Yeah, baby, I say, yeah, I'm responsible for that too. Yeah, beautiful. I know David and Harris. I know you guys have a good insight. Harris, are you there, and you still have a time to speak before you go?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, I'm still here. I am learning as we go. Um, as per some of the say at the moment, I kind of just would support and agree with everything that has been said, and that was pretty beautiful there. I could feel you, Susan, and I know a lot of us would have felt that in that way before, and that's true. That's when you're actually feeling your soul family from that perspective. But I think what I can do is maybe generalize everything to say, depending on how close you are from the perspective that you are in, whatever incarnation that you're in, depending on how close you are, the proximity to whichever soul family that are around you and that are connected, depending on the perspective that you're living within that incarnation. Um, the reason I want to say that is because I can go back to choosing to incarnate for some reasons. And because I want to incarnate for some reasons, I go down levels of my souls and look for my soul families that would have the things I need or that will really help me within this incarnation. So I incarnate through closer to the proximity will be very close to those soul families that would have what I'm looking for this incarnation. So in any sense, because we are all connected, all the souls are connected. In any sense, depending on what you're looking for, what experiences and what your soul overall wants to achieve, you can basically connect to any soul family and incarnate through there. Now, the feelings could be different. You might be very used to a soul family, and then all of a sudden you kind of incarnate and you are connected to some soul families that the feeling, the relationship, or how do I put it, is not that strong, and then you start feeling that they are a bit of strangers, but really it's just from that perspective. You might go back and connect to one of your shards and see that they are actually really, really close. So it's all about perspectives for me with the soul families, because at the end of the day, as we are all entangled souls within very large group of soul families, we all still come from that one shard of soul family. For the whole entire, if I say human collective, and then you could go beyond that, universal collective. So you can really do it whichever way you want, and it really depends on what experience, what that I am being or wants to achieve or wants to experience. And then when you create these unique incarnation, this unique piece from your soul that becomes this I am. It just depends on what experience it wants to go through, and that depicts the connection of soul families that would be around it. I know it's almost like a long shot, but
No, I understand what you're saying. So, Harris, this is why I think it's important. Again, as you said, it is a set of belief system. It really will come down to it. It's all about belief system. And Harris, that's your belief system. This is no judgment, and Andrew has his own belief system. We have individually has a own belief system, a mixture of like a cocktail or totally doesn't separate. We all decide which one. It's your choice. The important thing of this incarnation is different from previous incarnation. We got the golden ticket you could do whatever, which won't grant it previous generation because it's very much under control of this one elite. It was almost next to impossible to get around to it. Now it's less and less and less and more and more and more. I am presence being honored universally. So that is the only difference. So this incarnation, it's really important which belief systems speak to you, which thought process, or align up to expansion of consciousness, and which teaching help you today, this moment now. Now, tomorrow will be different. The next day we'll come back to the old belief system or mix of both, and that's exactly fine. It's that is a beauty of this, and eventually you're gonna bring your very own thing, and that's exactly what Harry said. Hey, this and this and that. Now
it depends. It depends on what experience the being wants to go through. So it's the beliefs. So from the experience and whatever achievements or whatever those experiences are, then the being chooses the best belief systems for them that serves them.
Yes. Now the reason why I have this sacred neutrality, what I'm like to emphasize, that all about this CERN is a mind control system, reality creation. So if you're not aware who you are, constantly you claim sovereignty, this system is coming from inside out, not external, but they target you inside. So more and more exposed, their whole idea to take over your soul, meaning that once you expose enough, you begin to confuse you versus not you, the system. And slowly, steadily, the system is telling so, and you think that's a higher self. So this is why I like to emphasize, it's not so much about talk about which philosophy is right. We need to distinguish your energy versus others. This mind control, just being aware, make such a huge difference. And I just experienced today, this morning, and during this trip. And if I didn't have a strong team, I probably carrying this jinns or ghosts from Savannah to this day. That is the whole thing set up about this CERN and sacred geometry. I just I just fell right into that, and I knew that he jumped into, but I couldn't do anything. I didn't know how to get rid of it. So I just want to make sure that this. I just want to mention this before we get too far. But this is exact discussion I want everyone to expose. So the Dave, Harris, Susan has each an individual expression, and I want to make sure. David, do you want to add to this?
Yeah, I was just going to say about contracts and relationships and stuff. I've noticed when you start getting rid of the fine print in a relationship, I've seen some absolutely fall apart, no matter how much you want to hold them together, because that relationship does not benefit you. And I've seen other people where they're having trouble and they remove the fine print and they seem to get along a lot better. Kind of interesting. I haven't really experienced until about the last 5 or 6 years, soul family or people that I can actually talk to about spiritual things. This is amazing being in this group with you all. And what I noticed more so with me lately is I'm being attracted to people that are more heart-based. People that are heart-based, I get along with them no matter what their beliefs are. I just met a man that was 14 years teaching in Iraq, Christian religion. We couldn't agree on any beliefs other than we believed in God and believed you reap what you sow. But he was very heart-based, and we get along very good. And I noticed for me to associate with people that aren't heart-based is kind of difficult. We don't communicate well. I will say one thing, and they'll get the exact opposite meaning, where I don't even know where they came up with that. And I think that it's more important. Your beliefs is, are you put out unconditional love, where you accept people for who they are? Are you standing in your signature frequency? And people that are not heart-based, I just even though I want to be friends with them and had friendships for a long time, it just doesn't manifest because it's just not a proper connection there.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, David. Well, you couldn't make that statement, David, because you did your own work. Most people don't even know what you're saying. The heart space, connection through heart. Ask the most guy, they're gonna look at you like foreign, like alien. It's just it's a continuous maturity, spiritual, maturity, and because you're doing your own work. You step up into your work and you understand who you are, and understand where your interaction and as a soul where they're coming from. So you reach that maturity. You already reach that maturity.
I can meet total strangers and I can tell at their heart place. We just click. We get along so good. There's that familiarity, like their soul family, because you're connecting on a much different level. I can see them and sense them for who they are. That they're a very compassionate, loving being, and they can sense that about me. Whereas people that don't seem that heart based, they're, like I said, I can say one thing totally meaning very loving and caring, and they'll come. They don't hear it. They project into the situation what they're feeling or what they're thinking. I'm like, how did they come up with that with what I just said? It's just I think that's kind of like the separation of density. I think goes back to that, is what I relate it to more than anything.
Yeah, thank you. I still have a very hard time with that, because part of me, that's why I'm probably here, the part of me that really like to love every single soul shards, but then some soul shard I just cannot integrate. And then I think that's why the separation of density now, you're supposed to discern, use your discernment, and I will integrate this, but I do not integrate that one. Even when we think we are all came from the same piece, but this moment, that's not necessarily the work we are supposed to do on this 3D construct, using your own sets of belief system and your heart space. You make a decision. You make a decision every day, which one you take in, which one you don't. Now you could go back and take it back too. The contract, same way. You say revocation today, and you could undo it tomorrow, or you could modify it to your likeness or add. It's just same as all different contract. There's no contract that lock you in totally, because we are all infinite beings with infinite power. It's just the setup in a game that we created ourselves and we agree upon, and we are here to play the game. So I don't want anyone to think feeling being locked in, or I don't know every fine print. That's you created, and you could modify any way you wish.
What's interesting too, I think everybody, as they open up their heart, become more heart-based, you just you can sense whether a teaching or a belief system fits you at this time. And as we grow, we find some of the old belief systems don't fit us anymore, and we expand. It's interesting. I met some people through Andrew Bardis's group and never seen them before. We were going to meet at a restaurant, and I'm looking and go, how would I recognize that person? I see this person walking across the parking lot, and I instantly knew that was them. Your heart sends out an electromagnetic field, they say, that they can measure in a room. From my understanding, it encompasses a whole earth. I think as we become more heart-based and more, unconditionally loved for their fellow man, we can just tune into that. We can tell who we click with and who we get along with and who we don't need to have an exchange with. It's kind of interesting.
And that kind of ties in, David, with what I was trying to get across with the future generations in the heart space and the bone marrow, because you're putting out that frequency, and that's what you want to interact with, that's what you want to co-create with, that's what inspires you in the moment to do that. So I think it's kind of related. We're saying the same thing as to what.
Yeah, a little bit different language, a little bit different interpretation, but yeah, definitely. Because when I connect to somebody, I can tell we're connecting you know, like on the same frequency, everything. The exchange is so smooth and never a problem. And when you connect to somebody that's not in that same heart space, it's hard to communicate. It's like that's you're just not conveying the right, picking the right words, or there's friction there. But I think that has a lot to do with separation of density. Like, you know, the separation of density is bringing us all together, you know, where we can talk about stuff. A lot of stuff we're talking about here, we talk to our family or friends about it. They don't even know what we're talking about.
Exactly. And that's where, you know, the future generations, to Santos's question, is we're going to share this heart space, and those are the beings, you know, whatever they are, you know, it's not necessarily, you know, your genetic bloodline traditional family, but it's those that want to come here and share the earth in heart space, in co-creation, to the infinite space in between atoms. So when we create those 7 generations, you know, we're filling it with, you know, what he said, the essence of the universe is love. So
Andrew was talking about the 4th option where you're not in polarity. I'm so done with this polarity thing. You know, people, you know, going in, you know, having this polarity. I'm so done with that. I can't wait to be in a world where nobody's trying to get over on anybody. Everybody's living with the code to do no harm, and everybody's transparent. They see you for your signature frequency of who you are. They know who you are by your energy. And there's going to be so much more comfortable level of understanding. I'm really looking forward to that.
Right, and I think that, you know, is part of those of you that have done his blood meditation. What David just said, you know, you're putting in that 4th option, non-duality, non-polarity, you know, beings that you want to incarnate with in the future.
Yes, definitely.
So I kind of sense appetite for 4th option, but Christy kindly reminded me of that, our topic, targeted individual. But before I go into, I want to check the time. And Santo, do you think was it helpful for you?
That was very helpful, thank you. It kind of helped having the discussion to cross the bridge between the 3D perspective of how we are generationally, you know, brought up through our cultures, belief systems, and the topic of that first slide you had, the soul family, the soul group. So it was excellent, and I really appreciated that link that was sent. I think that was Christy sent through, or Susan. I'm not sure which one, but yes, it really helped. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is a interesting concept though, Santos. I have a spiritual teacher. The way he put it out to me was, that is your unique perspective. That's how he put it. So by no means, I think this is not the mainstream belief system. So
exactly.
yes.
I think the mainstream can be a little bit too literal, and a literal interpretation of responsibility for 7 generations in a 3D world really doesn't make a lot of sense. So having to deprogram yourself from the literal information that's out there, as well as the literal kind of communication, and I hear, I don't know if it was David or whoever was saying, you just know when you're speaking to someone, whether you call it heart-based or authentic being, you just know that you're on the same wavelength. But I'm not sure how it all fits in terms of this concept of a 4th option that just removes it, because it seems to be the glue that gets us to the point of those understandings is going through the grind. And I don't understand or can conceptualize an environment where we don't have the challenges to bring us to the understanding. But I also appreciate the view that you don't want to be continually polarized in the learning exercises, but even when you, as an individual, come from the most balanced perspective, there's always something to learn from someone that comes at it from a what can appear to be a polarized perspective.
Yes.
So when you remove all of that, you think, well, how do you experience, feel, learn? It's
Yeah, I
just
could
something
add
that's
to that,
foreign.
Santos. I could add to that. I could add, why my voice is echoing? Can you hear
Gotta
me?
mute Santos.
Oh,
Santos speaker echoing.
Santos, is that, can I add something to clarify your thought? Okay, great. Sorry. My God, you are living in a quite an active area. Oops. I don't want to cut you off, but this will help you. So actually, targeted individuals that I wanted to talk about today, and the fourth option is to have actual quite a good link. The fourth option came down, forced upon us, so that will no longer timeline genocides that become the mass-scale disaster. So fourth option is not just given to us, let's say, have fun with it because we guys get tired of duality. It's not that at all. Duality is stay here as an important learning tool. There's nothing better than learn from contrast to your point. What is less encouraged is extreme duality becomes so-called just the extremist, such as the religion. There's always the cult, the extremist. It's so extreme that you completely forgot about the foundation of teaching, and you become obsessed, and you will put your opinion or your point across no matter what, even extend to eliminating the group of soul. So this is only seem to be happening here on Earth. Extreme polarity. That will continue to be discouraged. However, duality is still stay here as an important teaching tool. Now, if you continue to dismiss any type of duality-based learning, you go into the 18th universe, which we talk about that a little bit. The fourth option is brought here so that timeline genocide, which means eliminating the entire species, much bigger scale of soul family, based on the DNA technologies are created to hold a memory so we could expand without being without awareness. So how do you say this? So let's say you've been eliminated, your entire soul group being eliminated, which you've been traveling for zillion is years. That's you, and your collective is your source, the closest to the source. It did happen 4 times, correct? Because of the through tacit consent, your DNA as a collective being eliminated. So there's a lot of billion beings out there in a void space trying to identify who they are now because they don't remember. If they don't remember, they can incarnate. If you don't have an ancestor here on Earth, you cannot incarnate. That's a universal law. So that's why some of the ancestors will never come back here, Lemurian, Atlantean, by universal law until it's changed. They were never going to incarnate here on Earth. So fourth option came here to prevent that. I think Andrew told us the other day, almost if you try to run the Windows program in Mac computer, it just does not work. So that's basically the fourth option. It's not so much of it's mainly to prevent. A primary purpose is to prevent mass scale timeline genocide. giving a DNA without knowingness or through tacit consent, because we are now aware. And the human species is the stock, the commerce for the galacti. That's what the government is using for. I'm not sure. This maybe went too far. I just want to stop here.
Can I add something to the targeted individuals here?
Yeah.
I met a gentleman. I went on a trip to Texas, and the reason I went there was non-existent. But I went there and I met some amazing people. The gentleman I met there, the first thing out of his mouth when I was talking to him, he said that he was a targeted individual. And my understanding, listening to Andrew and talking to this gentleman, basically a targeted individual is anybody that they're trying to keep their source frequency out of this equation and not allow them to be who they are, because they would be a game changer. And the system has identified them and they've targeted them, or it could be a group of people that have targeted them. But talking to this gentleman, he was an amazing person, had a really fantastic life, very much in a spiritual journey. And by the time I met him, he was riding his bicycle, working at a car wash, and literally could not sleep inside four walls and slept on the ground in different locations every night because of what they were doing to him. So I was able to help him, tell him some of the tools, and introduce him to Andrew's teachings and told him some of the tools that he could do to help alleviate his condition. And so I think target individuals are the people that are really have a lot of light, and the system has identified them, and it's targeting them, or a group of people are targeting.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, David. I just wanna introduce the idea. I'm really worried about the time. I'm not sure how many people could stay on. So I will introduce overview of how artificial intelligence work, more like a macro perspective. Okay, Santos, maybe you already know this. So artificial intelligence is not so much the like a computer and a programming just running and hitting everything. It's really the reality manipulation tool being placed at one of the highest level. So it actually the consciousness from as a planetary mind almost implanted in. So it is actually mimic that as if those are the thinking soul. So it's not completely what we think about somebody program and like just running and all over. Actually, it's really more smarter. So the problem is that this domination control theme represent 27 family put all the money, throw the money into. I can't even imagine maybe trillions of dollars for the past hundreds of thousands of years. Created this reality control system. I don't remember how much, 6,300 program. It's just astronomical amount of program that hit by color and frequency. So color, frequency, I guess vibrations, I understand it's the same things. So it's basically hit that. So like David said, anybody in a certain frequency, they have all the program laid out. So if you see it, the system get it, and been induced, they have a various different variety of things to modify your reality. They could send you the bad girlfriend just when you awaken. So you're gonna go through the same pattern because they understand your pattern from your contract, the incarnation pattern, and your past behavior. They know what you have breakfast, what brand you go and buy it, what music you listen, what kind of movie you watch, and who you associate with a certain day. So more you have a routine, the easier for them to hit you. And then actually certain agents, there's a huge amount of agents work under CERN, just like you and me. Their job is to send you email, the junk email, or have a telephone. Literally that. I mean, they had like so many layers I can't even list. So more distraction, more annoying, more of those life life-altering things happen around you, what you begin to think is that you begin to think, this is, wow, this is my life. Their ultimate goal is to changing your reality, changing the way you experience, which is memory. Memory is light. The DNA store light because DNA is light. So slowly and steadily, they begin to change your perception and realities. The more you buy into that, what happened, your perception change, your belief system change, your thought process will change, your experience will change, your memory will change. You begin to become not you, somebody else the system created. So this is why when you end your life here and become soul and then meet your soul group, when you find yourself, life review, you buy into the system, yes, that is my life, this is who I am, and you go right back to the system created future. I understand if you completely buy into this system programming, they have a 50 life already ahead of you based on Andrew bodies. So you're just going back to the train of your future being created by someone else. I just want to stop here. I don't want to scare you. Many of us here already aware, already practicing to find who you are, what the mission is. And that itself the first step to say, no, that's not me. So the socials integration, yes, that could be my socials, but I decided to pick just sets of socials and not others. And that's your conscious effort of creating your future now from I am standpoint, doing everything you can do to love yourself and heal yourself and open up the new possibility while you're holding your own discernment, and which is who you are really and who you want to be. Now I'm going to stop here, and I know some of you need to leave, so I'm just going to pass the mic around and take the pulse.
I have something to say. Can you hear me? Okay. I think that what you've been describing and why Andrew says that an art like Qigong is important is because it's an experiential art. You're not thinking and getting into judgment or anything. You're just moving with the energy and whatever your level of awareness is of your bodily energies and what your connections are, and just being in that flow. And you take your mind out, whereas if you think you're like instructional or some other types of learning, you're always at questioning, and it's getting past that once you learn it to just experience it and then put your mind out of it, and the whole attitude is happy, relaxed, and you experience life differently because you attract a different energy into your bubble of reality. That's where your thoughts led me, Makiko.
Yeah, thank you. So yes, your Qigong is very powerful. One of the Qigong is a powerful tool because you understand your own energy and then be able to enhance it and create a bubble, meaning the first step to prevent the external forces try to imprint you who you are. So that is yeah, go ahead.
And it's just your free will then to do the exercises. You have to choose to have the experience. You can't just say, yeah, I do Qigong and not do it. It's choosing to do and have the experience that is key to the teaching.
Are you saying about me?
No, I'm saying about any individuation, you know, of spirit, that, you know, to have that experience, you have to have the experience. You can't think about having the experience. And that's why it's a powerful exercise tool, and, you know, in a healthy way to live, you know, day to day, because you're doing this for yourself.
If I just interject, because the other people may not know, Andrew highly recommended Qigong What was the other ones? There's two other ones, yoga and
It could be Tai Chi.
Tai Chi, yeah. But I think Qigong is one I'm most attracted to. So anybody, he highly recommends that.
Yeah, I really want to do it. Is it just wanting to do that? Qigong is the first important step, yes.
Yeah, it has its advantages, and it was one of eight branches of to health that in the Taoist elixir styles where I learned my first Qigong forms. But the very top of their health regime was meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And acupuncture was eighth because you failed to do everything else for yourself. You had to have some external physical force come into your body and alter your chi flow.
Oh, that's great knowledge. Nice to have a hierarchical thinking when you're learning something in this realm. So that's something definitely to learn about. We are talking about Qigong. I kind of lost my track here. Sacred neutral. So I wonder, since Christy is the one that brought up this target individual, Christy, we have a little more time. We could go any way. Is there any preference you have here?
I think for now, kind of just how to not be a target, I guess, because I was, I experienced this, and I don't want to experience it anymore. And it seems like we talked about soul family, and just today, my sister had sent me a picture of my estranged family from 25 years ago. And I thought, is this the Matrix reaching back out to me, trying to re-entangle me? It just seems like there are instances where it does try to come back and entangle you. And I guess I want to be more aware and try to find out some tools of what other people have done, how they've kind of handled it, things like that,
Like a toolbox 101.
Sure, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not experiencing it as much now, but like I said this morning, I had that experience and a few other experiences. I want to know what to look for, and now that you've brought up the AI, artificial intelligence, I'm a little concerned. So I'm open to learning. What you guys,
Can I offer a suggestion?
Sure.
Something Susan knows about and Makiko knows about. I introduced him to, or Susan may have known. The Oracle report is a daily energetic report that tells you what's going on. And today is a huge black moon day that gets into everyone, tries to get into everyone's shadow side. And it's particularly effective on people, with depending where their planets are. But she writes from an energetic perspective against this artificial intelligence that the archons are kind of the sentience or part of the artificial intelligence and part of the incarnation grid. But her writings tell you what to look for, not only in yourself but in other people and in the interactions in the larger perspectives, in politics or just in however the propaganda affects you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Typing that into a tab now so I remember to.
So, Christy, like,
Could you share the link in chat, please?
yeah, Dave.
I don't have the chat room on the phone here that I can see. It's just oraclereport.com. Susan, can you do it? Can you put it in there?
I just type it. Hopefully this is right, Susan. Correct me if it's not. So, Christy, I think this is a forum for you. Brain Trust Group, friend, So we are like here for you. So you're gonna be building your toolbox, so to say, and I think you are already ahead of the game because you notice, you understood. Most people don't capture that, right? You just kind of get irritated and then wonder why you're kind of irritated throughout the day. Connect her sending you a picture of a family. And you identify that is a trigger. You identify that what they're doing to your energy field. Now you're seeking solution. So you're ahead of the game. So you will have a toolbox, the write-it-down experience. This is a different things, and you pick and you do it and just record it, and then next day how you feel, because there are tons of different way, but the biggest hurdle is the people not knowing it, right? Not understanding why you're so pissed off all day, or why you're so low in the energy, right? And then why it always happened to me. So that is one of the worst way to think of the stuff. And then you will kind of begin to track, and you naturally focus on where you are spending energy, and you begin to understand the distribution of energy, so that you almost always is spending your energy in the right place.
Okay.
Yeah, so I congratulate you.
Yeah, I definitely, I woke up feeling okay, and after that I had a headache and felt sick, and I was like, wait a minute, this isn't, this has to be attached to this. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. Actually, it's wonderful. Most people don't even know that. So just to reassure, I just wanted to focus on the macro scale weapon. It's because individually face very unique situation, and it's very personal, and your solution will be very personal too. The best place to start is, do you have a dream? Or if you do remember, or you just ask yourself, you had a dream for last several weeks or last week. If you have a no dream or absolute no recollection dream, it's the big red flag, right? I mean, not remember a dream, it happened to me all the time. I'm not justifying it's good things, but have you had a dream? Because that's one of the first telltale sign that your natural rights being taken for whatever the reason. And the second things, how much of the time you are aware in your dream or remembering a dream, that is a next level. And then usually the last dream is the most important one, or usually around 2 to 4 a.m. But that started, I understand, changing. Veil is becoming thinner and thinner. So it could be just 2 p.m. You don't even need to meditate. You don't even need to dream. It's all of a sudden like you begin to see the different reality. But the dream is the first step to check your health, spiritual health step. And then once you identify, you're just gonna begin to look. You check your body, energetic level, your emotional wealth, and then you begin to track your spiritual journal, and you begin to identify your, toolbox. And David's great. David, Susan, and all the good. And Santos seem to have a very eager. Like Santos, I think I like you, Santos, because you challenge everything. You're so knowledgeable, and you layer into your own opinion. And I could tell from your energy, you are not taking anything with the face value. So it's wonderful for all of us that somebody continue to challenging. Keep us, I'm like laughing aside so much. Keep us honest, right? Because somebody has to do that. I'm not buying into Andrew's teaching completely. I say I don't agree with some of the things he said. But there's a chunk of his teaching. It greatly expand our mind and keep me in honest state. So that's why I really like his teaching. But I'm not paid by him. not yet. And then I'm not totally buy into it. It's one of the great teaching tools, or something that need to be shared. Also, I find great people through his community. So definitely we're enjoying that. I'm gonna stop here and like to go over the mass scale weaponry, which is called CERN. And then I will tell you why I'm covering this today. Just going back, galactic history show that the one on the top, or darkest of dark, being somewhat removed, and currently they are not in charge of the highest level of control and domination. However, that go down to archons. Archon is no longer have the same level of control. I'm not saying they're gone, but they're not significantly reduced the level and the power that they have now. What is still running strongly is a CERN. Because of pre-program and be leading us for eons, those programs, it just keep running. As I said, those are not the machines that just turn on and off, or maybe Zach create that turn off button, but it's running. And it has a consciousness, so they have a kind of mimicking ability to learn from your behavior. So that's something is the biggest hurdle for us. So I'm gonna like to mention, you probably noticed, I just want to mention so kind of refresh your mind. So CERNs is basically reality control tool. I hope I don't need to go into too much of the mechanics here. But basically it's really empowered by placebo effect. So because we're giving power away with the tacit consent to those AIs, we basically let it observe us and let them manipulate reality creation. So right now, according to Andrew, there are 633 separate reality control projects running. And they are aware of time. They are aware of timeline. They are aware of timeline genocide. Also, they are aware how to block the light from sun. So they target the specific personality, that specific type of people, but they use the frequency, vibration, color. So like David said, it could be the Monday 2 p.m. I'm going to hit this frequency because we know those people tend to take a nap or tend to have some meditation around this time. So this is the best time to hit it. So they have a certain things run. And Tuesday, we're going to target the color, the orange color people. Then Wednesday, we're going to have this type of a commercial in this TV program because those are the family who watch this TV program together. So something like that. Also, they could send specific targets specifically certain individual because this individual being abused, the family member. So specifically something like Mother's Day or some near the holiday season. This is a wild holiday season. A lot of people get depressed because they run the media and all sorts of things, and the family value those put it onto you and make you feel you are less, you're more, I don't know, the certain way. So those are the program still running, and just going to be continue to run with or without the archons being on top of the management. Now, one of the scary thing about this reality control system is not just us. Actually, the being not on Earth, but in our outer Earth or above and beyond, they are more scared so-called unseen world, because this machine is capable going out different realms, begin to infect and take over their reality. There are, I don't know how many million or zillion of new planets and new soul are coming out as we speak. Those are never experienced in this type of control system. If you remember, when Earth was constructed 11 billion years ago, the prime creator of the Earth at the time did not know the concept of a war, which is kind of hard to believe now. This is one of the reasons why war was introduced to the Earth to begin with, when it was originally set out as a non-free will. So Earth became free will, and shortly after, the concept of war introduced, which never experimented anywhere else. The other two galaxies experienced the war are non-free will. So the Earth was the first one to go through this experience, and look what happened. So and then the theme went out from the Earth and began to take over that war concept in all other planets. So the beings were very afraid of this CERN concept, going to psychically transport and implant into other realms and planets. So this is a big problem for unseen world as well. And I just want to stop here and time check. It's already 9, so I'd like to close out in 5 or 10 minutes. But I want to stop here. If you have anything you'd like to share, please unmute and speak up.
I do remember Andrew mentioning about they are sending belief systems out into other civilizations, other galaxies, things like that. And I wasn't sure if he meant they were sending out reincarnation or domination and control, or the war, the war frequency. Just a point of interest. But I do remember hearing him say that. And that was a great concern for other civilizations, other beings.
Yeah,
That's
good catch. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, you're right. It's not just CERN. Correct. Yes.
So can I add something a little more positive, just to end on?
Please.
So, you know, we're probably not going to dismantle CERN overnight, but we can minimize our personal entanglement and experiences by being super, super connected to Mother Earth and her wisdom, and then our own inner knowing. So it does come down to being super, super grounded and spending time outside. That's the techniques I use, and I just call upon Mother Earth to help me whenever I'm questioning what's going on. You know, I go to her, and that's where I find my guidance, and that's my belief system, but that's what I'm doing. And Christy, I had the exact same thing happen 2 weeks ago with a photo coming from like 20 years ago of my ex, and this, I mean, it was just like thrown up on the internet, and I'm like, what is going on? I just wanted to share that. That was so funny. So that must have been the theme of the month, you know, targeting with photos or something.
Yeah.
But I immediately went into this is a trick. It's, you know, I recognize what's going on, and, you know, I went outside and, you know, doing revocations on everything that comes your way. That's what I do. But anyway, that helps, I hope.
Yeah, that actually does help. That's what I've been doing. every day is just putting my feet on the ground, and which is kind of frustrating because right now I'm a little more homebound, and so my connections are more online. But I've made the choice to go outside, sit outside, be in nature for hours, because I feel her healing and her organic nature. And I feel like I can think more clearly, stay on the right path, stay positive, ground myself, ground the electricity that's coming out of the electronics. All of those things have been of great benefit. And so, yeah, that's definitely it. The only thing is the heat's coming back. So. So I only have a little limited more amount of time, and then,
Yeah, you have to get up at 4 a.m. in Arizona.
Okay, all right.
No, I'm teasing.
No, you do.
You do.
You do.
So, something to add, yeah, when you do the contract revocations, you remove your passive consent for the system to use your energy. And when you use the formula of the contract revocations, you can make your own. If you type in contract revocations and Upartis, you can download a PDF. I actually have a little file on my phone where I can pull them up. I think it's kind of interesting. I was looking through Facebook, friends they recommend, and I just added you as a friend, like Chrissy, in the last week. Thought it was kind of interesting.
Christy, I think you muted.
I was muted. Yes, thank you. Thank you for sending that. Yes, I do feel like I've met more people through this group, more people with similar interests and going in similar directions, which is very important to me at this point.
That's great.
Yeah, I was looking to expand my friends with people with similar spiritual interests, and I was just kind of doing it like heart-based on the recommendations. And I just bumped up my friends by about 45 friends, and it's interesting the information that the different people that I connected with in the last week or so that we've been exchanging.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you, everyone. I like to close this with a positive note, but I must say myself really being some kind of targeting to, I was just like, I cannot keep my eye open. It's just so tired for us 2 days. I could not even lift my finger the after.
Me too, Makiko. Me too. I'm glad you said that because I have been just sleeping 12 hours and oh my gosh.
Okay. Makiko, I've been taking naps during the day, and quite a few of my friends have too. So you're the same way. I think we're integrating so much stuff that we're just our physical bodies need a nap, and our spirits off doing other things.
I'm glad.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, because I haven't been feeling well either. Yeah, thank you for.
Yeah, I feel like someone poured the iron into my body, and I had a strange nightmare, and I was like playing, or I shouldn't say playing. I was thanking the universe to give me like a stream of energy, so I actually could get off from this bed. So okay, thank you. I'm glad. I thought it's some under spell or something. That's CERN.
Well, the astrological aspects are in play through. Saturday when the black moon moves into Scorpio. Right now, it's pretty intense. On
the damn Scorpio.
Hey, hey!
I'm a half Scorpio, so.
Okay.
Well, the black moon moves to you next week for 9 months. For 9 months.
Okay, how many people here on the Scorpio?
Me.
Oh, you. Which date?
It's the 5th. I don't.
Wow, you're really Scorpio. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the middle. I'm definitely in the middle.
I'm 22nd, so I'm half Sagittarius.
Yes, you are. That's great, though. It adds a little levity and a little fire to the.
Really?
Yeah, it adds a little. Yeah, and keeps it from keeps the denseness, you from being so dense and intense.
Yeah, but that stinger hurts.
Yes.
How about you, Susan?
What about
your sign?
Oh, I'm Gemini.
Oh, Gemini. I would have never imagined.
Why?
Are you late Gemini or May Gemini?
June. Yeah, I'm just in the middle.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't have imagined either, Makiko. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I thought I only know one Gemini, and I was so surprised. And then, oh, it's two.
It
You know
really
your
is the whole
ascendant is?
chart. Yeah.
August 14th, Leo here, and I've met two types of Scorpios. There's some that are very positive in the Scorpio, they're great people. And then there's the other ones, they're nice till you make them mad. Like I say, that's being really hurt.
Scorpio is, I think, is scary.
I think we lost Santo.
Yeah, he has to check off.
Okay.
I wonder how full he was. He may be Libra or something. I don't even know.
It's fun to guess.
Guess. What do you think? Maybe you should pour in, and if we ever win it, get the box of a cookie.
Yeah, maybe he's a Capricorn. Or let's see. You were saying that he had great questions. They were in depth. Let's see.
It could be
Gemini.
Aquarius? You think so?
Aquarius is very digging deep questions, knowledge, teaching.
Oh, you're right. They have to understand everything. Yes, that's
David,
Aquarius.
what sign you were, Dave?
I'm Cancer, double Cancer actually, with Cancer ascendant.
Wow.
Cool.
I could see that, you being Cancer, totally.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm shocked, Susan, you are Gemini.
Yeah, I'm shocked too.
Why?
I thought you were a different sign.
I thought, yeah, me too.
Do you know your ascendant, Susan?
Yeah, Taurus.
Okay.
Earthy, yeah.
Earth Mother. Earth
Yeah.
Bull. Yeah.
That might be what we're picking up on.
Maybe. Because, it's funny because here it's more sign, right? But in Japan, it's more Chinese zodiac play a role as well.
Uh-huh.
So,
What is everyone here?
Pig.
I think I'm the year of the rooster.
Rooster.
Tiger.
I'm a horse.
Oh.
Horse with a fire. Nobody wants to give birth to that year in the Orient, like in Japan. Fire force is one of the worst year to have any baby, especially if it's a female.
Oh.
Congratulations.
That's programming now. Look.
Yes, it is programming.
What are you trying to tell us, Mikiko?
Well, they believe that if it's female born in that year, supposed to eat the husband, so nobody wants to marry with that woman, who were born in a year, so nobody wants to give birth because you don't know which. So my grade was always 2 or 3, like 100 or 200 less than other grade.
What do you mean grade?
Wait, what?
Like when you go through the different grade, first grade, second grade, or third grade.
You mean when you got your scores on tests and stuff?
No, the grade, the first grade, like elementary school.
The number of pupils.
Number of the people, pupil.
You're talking about the number of students.
Number of the students is like, the classroom is a shrink. So what happened is every time a government want to install a new program, like a new scoring system, a new test system, guess what? We had that experiment because if it's messed up, it's the smallest number of students being affected.
So we got the right to mess you up too.
Yes. So each time we have a strangest test or program or class start from us. It's but that's a side note.
That is so interesting. Thanks. Wow, that is really interesting.
Yeah, they just dumbed everyone down equally here.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They gave us fluoride pills and handed them out at school every day. And for some reason, I never got them, and I didn't know why as a child. And now I couldn't be happier about it. They would call us up to the front of the class individually, hand out the fluoride pills, and then I wasn't on the list to get them, so I never knew why, but now I can see why. I had guardian angels looking out for me.
Yay. That's so
They
special.
literally handed out fluoride pills. I'm not sure if you knew that, but
No.
yes, you lined up in elementary school and you got your little pill in a cup, a Dixie cup.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Am I imagining, or did Harris say we could all come camp out of his house? I got my tent packed. I just got to get my ticket and figure out what day.
Wait.
Wait, I couldn't hear. What did you just say?
I was teasing with Harris. I said, if we all go to Ireland, what, we get to camp out at your place? He says, yeah, we'll figure that out. Come on by. I said,
Yeah.
I got my tent already packed and just got to get the plane ticket and figure out when we're all going to be there.
Oh, it's so cool. You know what? I'm gonna stop the broadcast and you could chat. Hold on. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Look forward to seeing you again as Sacred Neutrality Series 3. Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye. Stay
I'm out.
safe.